11 and almost 12 when she was killed. And she was the only child at the time. I think a lot of people they aren't aware of that. And I mentioned that I spoke at another group a couple of weeks ago, and I was sitting with the mistress of ceremonies, and I was explaining to her that a lot of people don't know that Denise was an only child. And she was not an only child because that was how they wanted it. My parents had tried any number of times to have more children and were unsuccessful. And so can you imagine your only child who's made it to 11 now, and you kind of thinking, well, there might not be any more. And my mother was 36 when she had me, and my daddy was 40, and then you take her to church, and then she's killed. So that puts another layer on what was already very sad and very tragic. And then 4 years after I was born, I have a younger sister who was born. So, but in between each of us, there were a number of miscarriages. So that's my mother's story. Denise grew up in a very different Birmingham than the Birmingham that I grew up in. Carolyn has a very different story than I have. After I'm part of that first generation that's born after segregation, so and because of the way my parents raised us, I really don't have a stream of consciousness of any of the things that Carolyn can relate to, of being not able to go here, not being told not to go there. So I don't have that stream of consciousness. So I can only imagine what that people in that era grew up with the impression of knowing you can't do this, you can't do this, you can't go there, and you might get killed. But I still had that because my earliest memory is knowing that my sister was killed in church by white racist men who didn't like black people. So once you wake up with that every day, that kind of follows you every day, and it's kind of haunting because you don't really know when that might happen again because nobody can tell you because nobody knows what's going on.